Good evening, this is TCN English News Edition, and you're watching with me, Nguyen Kim Kong Sai. First, the headlines. Manipur Chief Secretary refute claims of assistance from European Union on Manipur storm crisis. 29 deaths recorded in Mizoram, several still missing. Search operations underway. Several CSOs condole victim families. India successfully tests fires Rudra M2 missile. News in detail. Chief Secretary of Manipur, Dr. Vinit Joshi, in his official press release refuted claims made by a child climate activist from Manipur regarding assistance provided by European Union on Manipur's severe storm victims. With regards to a news report which has been circulating in the media and in different social network platforms about European Union providing 250,000 euros to rupees 2.25 crores to victims of severe storm in Manipur, the Chief Secretary of Manipur, Dr. Vinit Joshi, issued a press statement on behalf of the state government of Manipur that the news circulated in various media related to assistance rendered by European Union on Manipur's severe storm is totally false and untrue. And as far as the state government is concerned, all financial requirements in connection with the recent storm are being met from the available National Disaster Response Fund and the State Disaster Response Fund. This press release of the government of Manipur comes after Lisipriya Kangujam, child climate activist from Manipur, claimed on various social media that European Union (EU) provided rupees 2.25 crores to assist victims of severe storm in Manipur. Further, it is to clarify that the state government is fully implementing all relief works connected with the storm to the concerned deputy commissioners, security forces, and public volunteers. No NGOs or civil society organizations have been entrusted to carry out the relief work. A sum of rupees 30 crore has already been sanctioned by the state government to deputy commissioners of concerned districts. The death toll in multiple landslides in Mizoram's Aizawl district mounted to 29 after 4 more bodies were recovered from various places, a police officer said on Wednesday. 7 people are still missing, and rescuers presume that they are trapped under the debris at different locations following landslides and incessant rain in the aftermath of Cyclone Rimal on Tuesday, he said. A total of 25 bodies, including 14 from a stone quarry collapse site, were recovered till May 28 night. After 4 more bodies were found since late Tuesday night, the toll in a stone quarry collapse site at Metum has raised to 15 and that Klimi to 5. Aizawl Superintendent of Police Rahul Aiwal said 3 bodies were found at Aizawl Salemveng locality, 2 is at Falkond and Aibok villages, and 1 is at Lungsei and Kelsey villages on Tuesday, he said. Of the 29 victims, 23 are from Mizoram residents, 5 people are from Jharkhand, and 1 from Assam's Silchar town, according to Aiwal. Among the deceased are a 4-year-old boy and 6-year-old girl. Aizawl Deputy Commissioner Nazu Kumar said that search and rescue operations are still on and will continue till all missing persons are found. She said that teams of the National Disaster Response Force, NDRF, State Disaster Response Force, SDRF, Police and Fire Department have been deployed in the search and rescue operations. The state capital was cut off for several hours from the rest of the country on Tuesday due to a landslide on National Highway 6 at Hunthar, in the western part of the town. The road blockades were cleared in the evening and traffic movement was restored, officials said. In Aizawl town, cemeteries at Republic Veng, Kanan Veng, and Kulikond were damaged by the landslides. Officials say that the state capital witnessed no rain since morning on Wednesday. The Mizoram government ordered the closure of all offices and PSU units except those departments involved with disaster management and essential services on Wednesday, in view of the inclement weather warning issues by the IMD. General Administrations Department Commissioner and Secretary K. Laltumoya, in an order, also advised the private sector offices to adopt work from home more as far as possible. Mizoram Chief Minister Lalduam announced rupees 4 lakh ex gratia for the families of those killed in the calamities. He said that his government has earmarked rupees 15 crore to tackle the disaster. With Mizoram hit deeply by the cyclone Remal, the Kuki MP Manipur and Kuki Students Organizations Delhi and NCR sends condolence message to the people of Mizoram, extending their deepest sympathies to the families and communities affected by the devastating landslide in Mizoram. KIM conveys heartfelt sympathy and deepest condolence to the bereaved families of our brothers and sisters in Mizoram. A condolence program for the tragic loss of lives was also held at the Secretaries of Kuki MP Manipur Lamka. At this hour of grief and sorrow, may the Almighty God grant strength and solace to the grief-stricken families for the irreparable losses. KIM wishes all the agencies success in the efforts for speedy rescue, recovery, and remedy of this catastrophic natural disaster. On the other hand, the KSO Delhi and NCR is deeply saddened by the loss of lives and the widespread destruction caused by this tragic event. Our thoughts are with those who have lost their loved ones, those who have been injured, and those who are enduring unimaginable hardships. In this time of mourning, we stand in solidarity with the people of Mizoram. We would like to commend the efforts of the rescue teams, local authorities, and volunteers who are tirelessly working to provide relief and support to the affected communities. The organizations also appeal to the conscience of the union government to grant immediate financial assistance under the PM Relief Fund to aid in the recovery and rebuilding process. May you find solace in the support of the global community and strength in the resilience that Mizoram is known for. We mourn with you and honor the memories of the departed souls. More than 150 houses have been destroyed, dozens of trees and electric poles were uprooted, several roads were blocked, and over 50 dwelling units were submerged across Mizoram in rain and landslides, officials said. 3 persons were killed and thousands were affected by floods triggered by heavy rains in Manipur's Imphal Valley, officials said on Tuesday. A 34-year-old man was killed and 3 others were injured in a landslide caused by heavy rain at Thonglang Road in Senapati district on Wednesday. As per India Today Northeast, an 83-year-old woman drowned in the overflowing Senapati River, officials said. In Imphal, a 75-year-old man died of electrocutions on Wednesday when he came in contact with an electric pole during rain, they said. The overflowing Imphal River inundated several areas, with water entering hundreds of houses in Imphal Valley, forcing people to take shelter at nearby community halls. Flooding was reported from at least 86 areas in Imphal West District, including Kuman Lampak, Nagaram, Sagolban, Uripok, Kaisamthong, and Pauna areas due to the overflowing Nambul River, they added. Due to incessant rainfall, the bank of the Imphal River has been breached near Kairang, Kamba, Kabam, and Lariangbam Lekai areas in the Imphal East districts, and water gushed into several areas, inundating hundreds of houses. Several areas in Haigang and Korai Assembly constituencies in Imphal East district have been badly affected, with flood water at chest level in many parts of Imphal. A team of the National Disaster Response Force NDRF arrived in Imphal by special Air Force flight around 10 p.m. on Wednesday to lead the rescue operations, officials said. The UK and Air Cadets, in one of their patrolling on the 26th of May at 2 p.m. Sunday, have found that few villagers of Balay village, Koite area, Chorichampur, were engaged in the processing and selling of local wine. The UK and Air had taken immediate actions against the lawbreaker who were brewing and selling alcohol, which the organizations had been banning in the area. The openly brewing and selling of alcohol, local alcohol at Balay village signifies poor administrations and legislations in the area. If any landowners or chiefs are found allowing this type of immoral things to occur in his land or jurisdiction, the organizations with immediate effect will strip him of his chieftainship and his authority to end, says the UKNA in its press release. The organizations further questions the general public if they have no guiltiness over their thirst for money and intoxications in this time of war, when patriotic people are doing their best to protect the nation. The UKNA further requests organizations, leaders, chiefs, CSOs, INPI, and others to once again look into these matters so that we can guide the people in the right path according to the will of God. If we consider ourselves at war with the Métis, only then our future is so dark as our society is fighting a bigger war with drugs, reads the release. We first have to win the war on drugs so that we can save the youth before dealing with the Métis, since our youths are dying under the control of drugs. The UKNA sees no future visions and urges the public to eradicate the use or selling of drugs. First, since this poses more risks to us than the Métis War. Let's never get tired of serving our nations, but work even harder to eradicate all the social evils, fighting with full spirit and determination, reads the release. Government of Manipur has announced public holidays on May 30 and 31 for all government offices and banks due to severe flooding caused by Cyclone Remal. Rescue and relief operations are underway in the affected districts. Government of Manipur has declared May 30 and 31 as public holidays for all government offices, including public sector undertakings, corporations, and autonomous bodies or societies under its jurisdiction. This directive also applies to all banks, financial institutions, and LIC offices in the state. The decision, sanctioned by the governor, is in response to the incessant rainfall brought by Cyclone Remal, which has resulted in widespread flooding in Imphal West, Imphal East, Kangpokpi, Senapati, and Bishnupur districts. The persistent rains have caused severe inundations in various areas, prompting the state government to initiate extensive rescue and relief operations through district administrations and relevant departments. Authorities are urging the public to remain indoors and avoid non-essential travel to facilitate these efforts. Citizens stranded in floodwaters can contact helpline number provided by their respective deputy commissioners. Additionally, centralized emergency helplines 09-233-522-822, 09-485-280-461, 0385-244-0028, 0690-95-25816, 0385-291-2006 have been activated, involving civil, police, and security forces. While schools and colleges are also affected, with separate closure orders issued on May 29, 2024. Essential Services Department, including Home, Police, District Administrations, Relief and Disaster Management, Power, Health and Family Welfare (PHE), Water Resources (PWD), ZAD, CAF, and PD, MI, Forest, and LDA will remain operational. Officers and employees from other departments are expected to be on call to address any emergencies. The 3 Assam Rifles Sita Post conducted yoga classes at Sita Government High School today, the 30th of May 2024. The 3 Assam Rifles Sita Post held an interactions program with students by conducting yoga sessions today with students from Sita Government High School. The yoga session was conducted to teach students the positive impacts yoga poses if done regularly. Regular yoga practice creates mental clarity and calmness, increases body awareness, relieves chronic stress patterns, relaxes the mind, centers attention, and sharpens concentration. They urge the student to continue taking yoga sessions for their own benefits. 3 Assam Rifle have continually been doing good deeds to the people of the area, and the people greatly appreciate their good deeds and charity. The people feel safe with the Assam Rifle around, and they continually look forward for more cooperations from the Assam Rifle in the future. The Defense Research and Development Organizations (DRDO) on Wednesday successfully flight tested the Rudra M2 air-to-surface missile off the coast of Odisha. According to DRDO officials, the flight test met all the trial objectives, validating the propulsion system and control and guidance algorithm. Rudra M2 is an indigenously developed solid-propelled air-launched missile system meant for the air-to-surface role of neutralizing various types of enemy assets. The missile was flight tested by the Su-30 MKI fighter aircraft of the Indian Air Force (IAF). The performance of the missile has been validated from the flight data captured by range tracking instruments like electro-optical systems, radar, and telemetry stations deployed by the integrated test range at various locations, including the onboard ship, officials said. Several state-of-the-art indigenous technologies developed by various DRDO laboratories have been incorporated into the missile system. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh congratulated all DRDO and IAF on the successful test flight of Rudra M2. The successful test has consolidated the role of the Rudra M2 system as the first multiplier for the armed forces, DRDO officials said. After the test, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, Secretary Department of Defense, R&D, and DRDO Chairman Dr. Samir V. Kamat complimented all concerned for their contributions, culminating in the successful flight test. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday took a zipe at the Jharkhand government after an investigation found that some schools in Jamtara had switched their official holiday to Friday instead of universally accepted Sunday. PM Modi says Sundays are linked to Christians, and one district in Jharkhand had changed it, adding that the opposition is now fighting Christians too. Addressing an elections rally in Dumka of Jharkhand, PM Narendra Modi said, "In our country, there is a holiday on Sunday. When the British used to rule here, the Christian community used to celebrate the holiday. Sunday is not linked to Hindus, but to the Christian community. It has been a holiday since 200 to 300 years. Now, they have put a lock on Sunday holiday in one district and say that the holiday will be on Friday. First, they fought with Hindus. Now they are fighting with Christians. What is going on? Reversing the decisions made 2 years earlier by 43 state-run schools to change their weekly holiday to Friday. The Jharkhand Mukti Morcha (JMN)-led government in 2022 reinstated Sunday as official day of holiday. Later, an investigation found that some schools in the minority-dominated areas of Zamfara had changed their official holiday to Fridays, while Dumka MP and BJP leader Sunil Soren objected to it. Zamfara MLA Irfan Ansari said there was nothing wrong in it, as majority of students belong to the Muslim community. The Dumka MP is giving a tribal matter a communal color. What is wrong in observing a weekly holiday on any other day than Sunday, especially where the bulk of the students come from the Muslim community? He was quoted as saying by Business Standard. In the Dumka rally, PM Narendra Modi also accused the India bloc of sheltering the infiltrators in the Naxal-affected area, asking a swipe at the ZMM, PM Modi said. Now the problem of infiltrators had risen as a big problem in Jharkhand. As a result, the number of tribals is rapidly decreasing in many areas, and the number of infiltrators is increasing. The safety and lives of tribal daughters have come in danger. Who are these infiltrators who are a threat to our daughters? Why is the ZMM shielding them? PM Modi asked. Police in Jammu and Kashmir's Kupwara district have registered a case against army personnel for allegedly entering a police station Tuesday night and assaulting policemen, leaving 4 injured. Denying there was any altercations, the defense spokesperson said there were minor differences that were amicably resolved. Police invoked IPC sections relating to rioting, robbery, kidnapping, and attempted murder against the soldiers. Police sources claim that the army personnel were angry over the detentions of one of their members and also took away a head constable, Ghulam Rasul, with them. In a statement, a defense spokesperson said reports of an altercation between police and army personnel and beating up daring of police personnel are misfounded and incorrect. Minor differences between the police personnel and a territorial army unit on an operational matter have been amicably resolved. The personnel who entered the Kupwara police stations were led by an officer, said police sources, adding that they also snatched the phones of the injured police personnel and station house officer Mohammed Ishaq. Sources say that after the interventions of senior officers, Head Constable Rasul was released in exchange for the detained soldiers. The injured policemen, identified as Constable Saleh Mustaq and Jahur Ahmad, and Special Police Officers Imtiaz Ahmad Malik and Rayis Khan, were taken to the Sir-e-Kashmir Institute of Medical Science, SKIMS, in Srinagar. Doctors say they are in stable condition. Sources say that the FIR registered at Kupwara police stations invokes the following IPC sections: 186 voluntary obstructions of public servant and discharge of public duty, 332 voluntarily causing harm in order to deter public servant from doing duty, 307 attempt to murder, 342 wrongful confinement of a person, 147 rioting, 149 every member of unlawful assembly guilty of offense in prosecutions of common offense, 392 robbery, 397 use of deadly weapon during a robbery or dacoity, and 365 kidnapping and abductions with intent secretly and wrongfully to confine person. Coming to international news. An angry mob set the Israeli embassy in Mexico City ablaze on Wednesday as protests against Israel's actions in Rafah, Gaza escalated. Masked protesters hurled stones at security forces who had set up a barricade to block access to the Israeli embassy in Mexico City's Lomas de Chapultepec neighborhood. Approximately 200 people took part in the urgent actions for Rafah demonstrations. with dozens attempting to break through the barriers, according to AFP. Video posted on social media shows fires raging outside the embassy complex. Unverified reports indicated that several people were injured in the chaos. The riot occurred after Mexico filed a declaration of interventions in South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the International Court of Justice, ICJ. The ICJ, the principal judicial arm of the United Nations located in The Hague, issued a 13-2 ruling on Friday, demanding that Israel immediately halt its military offensive and any other actions in the Rafah governorate, which may inflict conditions on the Palestinian group in Gaza that could lead to their physical destructions in whole or in part. On Sunday, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant stated that the IDF would continue its defensive in Rafah to free hostages held by Hamas and dismantle the Palestinian terrorist group. Israeli officials maintain that their military operations eased in the enclave complied with Friday's ICJ ruling. Yemen's Houthis launched attacks at 6 ships in 3 different seas, including the Marshall Islands flag bulk carrier, Lax, that was damaged after reporting a Houthi missile struck off the coast of Yemen, the group said on Wednesday, Reuters reports. The Lax was attacked on Tuesday. The Houthis also launched attack against the Moria and Selaidi vessels in the Red Sea, the Alba and Myers Hartford in the Arabian Sea, and the Minvera Antonia in the Mediterranean, military spokesperson Yahya Sari said in a televised speech. The Lux, which was carrying a cargo of grain, was hit by 5 missiles fired from Yemen, but the vessel was still able to sail to its destinations and the crew were safe, the ship security company LSS SAPU told Reuters on Wednesday. The vessel has sustained damage. Sea is not taking water. Sea is not tilting, and there are no wounded on board, a LSS SAPU spokesperson said. She is proceeding to her destinations with a normal speed. The spokesperson with LSS SAPU, which was responsible for evacuating the crew from the Ruby Mar, which sank after being hit by a Houthi missile earlier this year, said Lux Greece-based owner had no connections with Israel or the United States. The vessel last reported its positions on May 28 with the destinations of Bandar Imam Khomeini in Iran, LSEG shipping data showed. The Houthis, who described their attacks as acts of solidarity with Palestinians in Israel's war in Gaza, have launched repeated drone and missile strikes in the Red Sea region since November, later expanding to Indian Ocean. They promised to attack any ship sailing towards Israeli ports, even in the Mediterranean. The group has managed to sink 1 ship, the Ruby Mar, seized another vessel, killed 2 crew members, and disrupted global shipping by forcing vessels to avoid the nearby Suez Canal and reroute trade around Africa. A senior Israeli official has said he expects the war against Hamas in Gaza to continue for at least the rest of this year. The fighting in Gaza will continue for at least another 7 months, the Prime Minister's National Security Advisor, Tzachi Hanegbi, told Israel's Khan public radio. He also said Israel's military had taken control of 75% of the buffer zone along the Gaza-Egypt border, as it pressed ahead with an assault on the southern city of Rafah. Residents of Rafah, meanwhile, reported that there had been more Israel airstrikes and that tanks had mounted raids in central and western areas before retreating. A senior World Health Organization (WHO) official also warned that Rafah's last hospital was barely functional and that a full incursion by Israeli troops could lead to its closure and a substantial number of deaths. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, said on Tuesday that troops were operating in a very targeted way against Hamas remaining battalions in Rafah, from which more than 1 million Palestinians have fled over the past 3 weeks. The U.S. government also said it did not believe a major ground operations was underway, which could trigger a change in its policy on military aid to Israel. Israel has insisted that it must take Rafah to achieve victory in the war triggered by Hamas' unprecedented attack on the country on 7 October, during which about 1,200 people were killed and 252 others were taken hostage. At least 36,170 people have been killed across Gaza since the start of the conflict, according to Hamas-run health ministry. Mr. Hanegbi, seen as a close confidant of Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, told Khan that he was expecting another 7 months of conflict in order to fortify our achievement and what we define as the destructions of the governmental and military capabilities of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. The accusations will worry many in Israel and outside. There has been growing international pressures on Israeli leaders to outline a full strategy to end the fighting and a convincing post-war visions for the Palestinian territory. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken later said it was imperative that Israel formulate a post-war plan as soon as possible if it wanted to ensure Hamas' lasting defeat. In the absence of a plan for the day after, there won't be a day after, he told reporters on a visit to Moldova. In his interview, Mr. Hanegbi also suggested that Israel would soon take control of the Philadelphia corridor, a buffer zone only about 100 meters, 330 feet deep in Pers, which runs along the Gaza side of the 13-kilometer, 8-mile border with Egypt. Inside Gaza, the IDF is now in control of 75% of the Philadelphia corridor, and I believe it will be in control of it all with time, he said. The plan, he added, was to work with the Egyptians too, to ensure weapons smuggling is prevented. Egypt has denied weapons are still being smuggled under the border, but the IDF said on Tuesday that it was demolishing tunnels that led to Sinai Peninsula. Residents have said that troops have seized about 9 kilometers of the Philadelphia corridor, including the Rafah border crossing, since the start of the ground operations in Rafah on 6 May. The troops also have gradually pushed into built-up neighborhoods of Rafah city from the east and south, and reportedly reached the central Al-Oda roundabout on Tuesday. On Wednesday, residents told Reuters news agencies that tanks advanced into western Tel al-Sultan and central Yibna and Sabora areas before pulling back towards positions on the border. The IDF also announced that 3 Israeli soldiers were killed in combat in Rafah on Tuesday. Some roles of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, who is in western Rafah, told the BBC that most people are now picking up and leaving. I was on the road this morning, and so were many others. It seems that even though the operations, the Israeli troops haven't reached this far west of the Rafah yet, people have taken the signs that it's time for them to leave, he said. A lot of anxiety, a lot of fear in the air. The Rafah chapter of this conflict, which we hope wouldn't be upon us, is now underway. That's all from us tonight, and we thank you for joining our program.